Brian?
Oh, hey, Mark. What are you doing here?
We're going to record the podcast today. Remember? This script seems pretty light. Did you just copy in the intro and the outro and not do anything else?
I've been waiting to hear what the next Star Wars movie is going to be after The Force Awakens.
But that, you mean from the last episode? Brian, we are not waiting 2 years to do another episode, Brian. We talked about this.
Okay, fine. Let's do an episode since it's so important to you. The whole Star Wars thing was your idea anyways. What do you want the episode title to be?
Why don't we just record the rest of the episode and decide on a title when we're done?
Fine.
Okay. Thank you. Well, what about a script?
We don't need a script. Let's just pick something to talk about and worry about how the show format later. It's unlikely anyone's going to notice anyways.
Oh, okay. So where do you want... Brian, I wasn't done talking yet. Why did you play the music? And don't we always start with the Salesforce joke? I mean...
No script, Mark. Free yourself from the confines of the pre-typed text. Change is good.
Says the guy who writes the script every week.
For example, do you create custom objects and fields the old-fashioned way?
Old-fashioned? Is there another way, like Ant, or what do you...
I used to. Now I use the Schema Builder whenever possible.
Did we just become some kind of an infomercial?
Did you know you can set field level security in the Schema Builder with just 2 clicks?
Actually, I didn't know that. You can set field level security in the Schema Builder?
Yeah, I didn't know that either until Shannon Hale posted on Twitter that she loves when someone learns something new about a feature they thought they knew everything about. So I had to go in and take a look at this. So if you go into the Schema Builder, which is a fantastic way to kind of visualize your objects and their relationships.
Yes, it is.
Right-click on a field, and you have a whole bunch of options. You could delete the field. You could edit the field properties, like is it a text field or whatever. You can manage field permissions or field level security.
Wow, I totally didn't know you could right click. That's actually really cool.
It is cool. And then of course, if you're still having some issues of letting go of the old user interface, you can view the field in a new window and it takes you to the old interface for that field.
That's pretty crazy. That's actually, see, my major complaint with the Schema Builder is every time I've built something with the Schema Builder, I have to go and then set the permissions and everything later. But apparently I don't. Now I can actually just go do it.
It makes it a lot more efficient and it's a lot faster. What I like using the Schema Builder for, especially for like new setup things, like you're creating a whole bunch of different custom objects with a whole bunch of different relationships, is it gives you basically an ER diagram, which you can grab screenshots of, or if you're really good, do some printing magic, which I've never figured out how to do myself.
For the layman, what's an ER? What does ER stand for? It's not emergency room.
I don't remember what the ER stands for. I always...
It's otherwise known as an ERD, right? It's an entity relationship diagram. There you go. I looked it up. I Googled it.
That's cheating.
Yeah, well, somebody had to, Mr. Script.
Oh, I was just going to explain what the ER diagram was. Well, none of this is scripted, Mark.
I know. My point exactly.
Essentially, for those of you who don't know what an ERD looks like, or an ER diagram, it is
don't say ERD diagram, please. That you're gonna
That's like saying ATM machine.
No, yeah.
Now stop interrupting and let me tell the good listeners what it is that we're talking about.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
So think of a box representing your custom object, and within that box is a list of all your fields. And if one of those fields is a lookup object, it's going to have a line that draws to the other box that represents the object it looks up to. So you can see the web of connectivity between all your different objects, whether they are relating them back to itself, like a hierarchical lookup, or to another object in a master or detail.
If you haven't used the Schema Builder, go check it out. It's in the setup menu, right? The setup area.
Everything's in the setup menu.
Yes, I know, but it has its own thing. It
has its own thing.
It has its own thing.
It's not under deploy.
It's not under deploy.
It's not under any menu. It's not under any menu at all.
No, it's physically located beneath deploy.
Well, it depends on which version.
No, that's true.
Of the setup you have, right?
If you're on the old version of the setup, like unfortunately my org is relegated to.
Mark is doing this the hard way, folks.
Yes.
Don't worry what version you have. Just use the quick find and type the word schema.
That's true. Yes. Type the word schema.
Which is what we should all be doing.
Exactly. We should be. We should all be doing that. And it's there, and go check it out, and you'll probably open it for the first time and see all of your objects and freak out. But just play with it a little bit. Go watch some videos on it. It's really useful, and it's a lot faster to create fields this way.
And stay tuned to the wizardnews.com because I'll probably put something up there a little bit later.
There you go.
Why was the account so upset with their contacts?
What do you mean? What is this?
It's our Salesforce joke, Mark. Why was the account so upset with their contacts?
Okay, sure. Put the joke in the middle of the show. Dogs and cats living together. Okay, Brian, why was the account so upset with their contacts?
Because they won't clean their room, eat their vegetables, go to bed on time, and they're constantly screaming and whining.
What are you Oh, no. Oh, I get it. Because they're child records. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, ha. Having trouble with the kids lately, Brian? They driving you nuts a bit, maybe?
No? Why do you ask? So how you doing, Mark?
Other than wishing we were doing this with a script, fine. How about you?
Better.
Better than what? Were you sick or something?
Well, I was addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around.
This is why we need a script.
You know what's cool?
Now what? What is cool, Brian?
It's really cool learning how people get started with Salesforce. So our segment, which still does not have a name, you know what?
What?
I'm tired of the segment not having a name. It's our third episode with this segment, and it should have a name.
Okay, sure, we're going to go without structure for everything else, but we need a name. Okay, did you get any other listener ideas, maybe?
We did not. I'm thinking I'm going to call this segment Fred.
You know what? Sure. Why not? Fred sounds good. Why the hell not? Fred.
Yep.
Fred.
So on this episode's Fred, we continue learning about how people got introduced to Salesforce for the first time. We asked the question. So, Ryan Headley. That's for future reference. Headley. So, we do the podcast, and we're working on a new series of stories that we haven't quite figured out what we're going to call them, but we're asking everyone a simple question. And we know it's kind of personal, it could be a little bit sensitive.
Yeah, kind of intimate.
What do you two guys have? What do you got coming?
Why do people not take us seriously?
I don't understand why.
I don't understand why.
No.
So, anyways, Mark's been asking the question because I'm a little shy about it.
Right, so if you could tell us, what was your first time like with Salesforce?
My first time with Salesforce. I got nothing for you, man. I came into it with an open mind.
Right.
Parts of it met my expectations. Parts of it didn't until
Better than most.
Until a year later, and then I'm like, now I got it.
How long ago was your first experience with Salesforce?
2 years ago. I'm kind of ashamed.
Wow.
I'm still relatively new to it all.
Have you been relishing it?
Actually, lately, yes. It's been very good lately. Very busy, active.
Yeah, so my understanding is you write a lot of Apex code.
I do.
So you're very familiar with the innards of Salesforce.
How it works, how it functions.
Yes, sure.
Okay. You know all the right spots to make sure that you can not go over governor limits or potentially hit
All
any
the tricks.
Yeah.
I like to take them right up to the edge of those governor limits and then just bring it back down slowly. You're going to have to edit that out, aren't you?
No, that's perfect.
We're not.
Thanks, Ryan. Now it's time for a Salesforce video of the undetermined amount of time until the next one. Now here's Mark to introduce the video.
What? Hang on. Wait, what? There's no script, so I don't know what the video is.
Since Mark apparently doesn't know what's going on, I'll introduce the video. This is actually a playlist of videos for the Dev 401 training.
Wait, playlist of... Is this the actual training that people usually pay thousands of dollars for, Brian?
Yep. Now, to be fair, it is a few years old, so do not rely on this for a complete and up-to-date platform training. It does cover... What?
Are we going to get in trouble for posting this?
Because this was something that they actually had recorded themselves and made available to people.
Oh, okay.
This is why I'm saying it's old. I mean, it was made in 2012, I believe. So it is definitely old. It's not going to cover any of the new things like Process Builder, Visual Workflow, or anything like that. Oh. But it covers all the basics that really haven't changed. So things like workflow rules and custom objects and security.
And for all you folks who are thinking, I'm not a developer, I don't need to worry about the Dev 401, well, this is for people who code. No. No, it is not.
Dev 401 is all about platform development, which is declarative.
Declarative, in case you didn't know, declarative means it's all button click. It's all stuff that admins can do. You don't need to worry about code at all.
Right. So there's actually no code that you need to know about the Dev 401. You do need to know about code. You know, like what is a Visual Force page? What is a trigger? Sure. Maybe even what's a class. But it's more important to know when would you use those tools. And you're not going to sit there and write a trigger.
In other words, when can you not do what you're trying to accomplish with workflow or process or flow or things like that?
Right. So it's a good start for someone who has absolutely nothing and maybe doesn't have any resources to go out and pay for the training themselves, but definitely don't depend on it for everything. You know, I would go out to developer.force.com, grab the Platform Fundamentals book, which is fantastic. It's free.
Yep. I would also suggest Bulkified.com. That's BULKIFIED.com. It actually has a bunch of practice tests. It's not official or anything, but I've used it before. It's super handy.
WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, script writing by Brian Kwong, audio editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, invisible and inadmissible script writing by Brian Kwong. Our intern is no one. Who wants to be our intern?
Send us your interview suggestions, jokes, videos, tips, and feedback to wizardcast@thewizardnews.com or head over to thewizardnews.com and click Contact WizardCast.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode auto-magically. Once again, I'm Brian.
And I'm Mark.
Thanks for listening.
Whoa, hey, Brian, don't go anywhere yet. We don't have a title for this episode yet.
Well, let's see. We talked about the Schema Builder. We can call it WizardCast, Episode 8, Schema Builder something.
Something? That doesn't sound very professional.
We'll figure it out before it gets posted.